Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight we have episode 5 of Freak Show, with yours truly as the GM. Let's do a recap. After the incident with the South Seas Horror, in other words, the Geek, the investigators found the local police to be indifferent to carny folk and their problems. The carnival was broken down and moved to Aylesbury to be the main attraction at the county fair. Back in Bolton, the investigators found that the representative from Ringling Brothers Circus was missing. The next morning in Aylesbury, the main roustabout, Brad Rayburn, was accosted in the parking lot by Dunwich folk, seeking revenge for his making a young girl pregnant. He was taken to the hospital. Later that day, the Ringling Brothers Circus rep made quite an entrance, raving madly and having obviously been battered and bruised and driven insane. He was apprehended and sent to the hospital. That evening during the ring show, Gorgo the chimpanzee became enraged and attacked Ted Nichols during his act. Clyde Court, the lion tamer, rescued Nichols but had to shoot the ape. As the circus was winding down for the evening, a report came to the investigators that a number of people had gone missing during the day's festivities. While speaking with Marty Bonham in the personnel area, one of the Daffy clowns met the investigators, stating that his brother, Scotty, was also missing. But before they could get any farther, Scotty, still in full clown costume and covered in blood, leapt from the shadows, swinging a meat cleaver. That's where we left it. So, Scotty comes flying out of the shadows with a meat cleaver, and he's wild-eyed and foaming at the mouth, and his brother is like, "No!" like this as he leaps at you. So what do you guys do?
Let's see. I would pull out my gun and shoot him. Try to shoot him in the arm, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to kill him, but
well, you're going to try to attack him. He's going to try to attack his brother, but let's go ahead and see. Roll for what you're going to do is you're going to roll for your firing skill, and I'm going to roll just sort of for dodge.
Oh, okay.
We'll see who gets the higher skill.
All right, I've got a 24 out of 35.
And is that just a regular success?
Yeah, that's a regular.
I didn't do it. So he doesn't dodge. We'll say, since it's his arm you're aiming at, let's go ahead and roll a 1d4 for damage to his arm.
2.
Okay. When you hit him in the arm, he sort of spins around and he drops the meat cleaver. But he doesn't stop. He's turned towards Paul, and he's now running at Paul, and he's just growling.
I'm going to fire another shot. This time in his leg. I'm not trying to kill this guy, because that's this guy's
Well, let's let the other people go first.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Whose dex is next? Because mine's a 50. So, what's yours, Paul?
40.
All right. Well,
okay.
Gwendolyn, you can go ahead and try to. What are you going to try to do?
I guess since the cleaver's out of his hands, I'm going to bull rush him.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll once again roll for dodge, and you roll for brawl.
Yeah. Oh my God! I just had that die. Where'd it go? Right here.
For what it's worth, I was going to do the same thing. So maybe if we gang up together, I don't know, like that would be like an assist or a bonus die, or it's up to you.
Do we want to do a bonus die? Can we do a bonus die?
Sure. Let's do that. We'll say you're doing it together.
Okay.
Oh, oh,
Do you want to roll the bonus die, or do you want to?
that's good, eh?
Are we
That
doing-
way, if you got the higher one, then you hit first.
We
if
can
I
use
got the
mine.
lower- Yeah.
Yeah.
21 for me.
21. Okay, I got a 30, so you're higher.
You beat him. Okay, so you guys knock him to the ground. Pretty powerfully. So why don't you go ahead and once again roll 1 to 4 dice to see if you hurt him when he hits the ground.
Okay. I did 4.
Ooh, I did too.
Wow, so we did 8?
Yeah.
Dead.
Kill him just by jumping on him.
Okay. And his brother is going to try to restrain him. So let me see if he succeeds. Actually, as his brother sort of reaches down to try to pin his arms, Scotty swings his arm up and hits his brother in the face, and he goes flying backwards. But you guys do have him sort of pinned to the ground. He's going to try to struggle. So, but I'm going to go ahead and Wayne, your character can go ahead and try to do something.
Well, they got him down, so that's what we wanted. We wanted him restrained and not attacking his brother. So I'm going to go over to his brother and check on him.
Okay, so you do that. He's going to struggle. All I need you guys to do is use your dexterity roll to see if you can keep him pinned down.
Okay. 46. I pass.
33 also pass.
You both beat his roll, so you manage to keep him pinned to the ground. And are any of you yelling or, for help?
Well, I would imagine a gunshot would have had people running.
Oh, of course, I forgot the gunshot.
Yeah.
All right. Some other people start running over, and they help you to restrain him, but he's completely crazed, and he's covered in blood. He's not speaking either. He's just growling like an animal.
Which way did he come from?
He came from between two of the carts, sort of around in the back part of it, near the canvas wall.
I'm gonna actually, while these guys have him restrained, I'm gonna go over there and check it out and see if I can find the 2 missing people.
Okay.
Where are we again?
You're in the personnel. You're in the personnel area.
Oh, actually in that area.
Yeah. All right. You go over there, Lenora, and you in fact do find 2 people, a man and a woman, and they have been slaughtered. So I need you to do a sanity roll.
Yeah. I make it, but
No, should do at least,
2.
one or 2. Yeah.
I'll do like 2. That's my pencil. And I'm gonna start screaming.
Okay. All right. So the aftermath of this is you're screaming. Other carnies come over. They manage to tie up the brother, and of course, with the intention of, well, what should we do at this point? Nichols comes out. O'Dowd shows up. Some of the freaks show up. Everybody shows up. And Nichols is like, I don't see any other way out of this. We have to call the police and get them out of here. And he says, this is going to ruin our circus. It's going to ruin everything. And you can see him glancing at O'Dowd like, you son of a bitch. This is all your fault.
Hmm.
Um,
How's O'Dowd taking that? Does he have a smirk on his face?
Not really. He's just looking angry. And after a few minutes, he storms off to his trailer. So, would you guys like to do anything before they get the police?
Well, I'm going to inform the fiance and I think it was the husband.
Well, they're not here anymore. They went home. They left, thinking that maybe their people had gone home before them.
All right. Okay. Somebody's going to have to break the news to them.
The police, yeah.
I'd like to try something, unless you're still going.
Okay.
I know it's a long shot, but the clown that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have some skill in hypnotism. Wondering if maybe I could try to hypnotize him, maybe kind of like calm him down to a point where he could tell me what happened, or
Okay. The only problem is that he's not calming down.
Okay.
He seems enraged.
He's just out of it.
And very quickly you become sort of medically alarmed because somebody acting like this, at this point, his heart rate must be off the scale. Well, if it was off the scale, he would explode, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And if this goes on much longer, of course, you don't have anything you can give him to calm him down.
Right. Well, that's right. I carry my flask for that reason, but he's not even going to do that.
Right. You estimate that he may only have minutes to live before he probably will have a heart attack. And it's very strange. Go ahead and do a spot hidden. Now it's late. It's late in the evening, but there's plenty of light. They have electric light.
Yes, 32, which is not quite a hard, but regular success.
Okay. What happens is you notice. Now you don't know if he's been. He's crazed. You don't know if he's been eating something or drinking something, but there seems to be like a yellowish residue around the corners of his mouth. And it occurs to you that you might have seen the same thing on the Geek.
Yeah, I've been suspecting the food for a while now. But I didn't have anything to prove it, though. So that's... Somebody somehow is getting to these people and drugging them somehow.
Now, are you saying this to anybody, or?
I'm just kind of talking out loud, so if anybody hears me.
Did we notice the guy from Ringling with the same sort of thing on his mouth?
No. But then the guy from Ringling was not enraged. He was just insane and beaten. And
how about the monkey?
Monkey, it's harder to tell.
Okay.
Didn't really get that good a look at him, but one of the.
Well, they still have it around, don't they? Because the attack happened here.
That's right. It happened earlier, didn't it?
Yeah. So
yeah. He's back behind everything. They're going to bury him tomorrow, or bury him tonight, or whatever. So you can go and look if you want.
Sure.
One of the carnies, when Dr. Smithson says what he says, well, he was hanging around one of those guys earlier. I saw him talking.
What guys?
He says one of those guys in the trench coats.
Kind of figured. Okay.
He says, I think they were passing a flask.
So do we think it's poison? I look at the group.
It might be some sort of drug.
Well, as soon as they say that, somebody else says, I saw one of those guys hanging around Gorgo's cage earlier in the day.
I mean, you didn't say anything to anyone?
He didn't think about it until now.
What if, and I kind of look at my two party members and I say, what if the trench coat, the Innsmouth folk, are sabotaging the chances of the fish boy being sold to the other circus, and they're sabotaging this circus so that no matter what, they have to sell it back to them.
Right. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nichols is there, and he says, you're probably right. I need to talk to O'Dowd and see, we've got to, get rid of that thing. He says, but since I'm not its actual owner, we got to figure out what O'Dowd wants to do with it. He can sell it he can give it to those people, or he can give it to that professor fellow. That professor offered a lot more money than the Innsmouth folks did.
Can I ask the guy that saw them drinking, did he see them actually passing the same flask back and forth?
He says he wasn't really paying that close attention. He says, I guess what I saw was him pass the flask to Scotty.
Okay. Well, maybe they might be immune or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're still looking at the scene, if Lenore's okay.
Yeah. Actually, now that we have this bit of information, we should go and check out the monkey, or the ape, I should say. And then we should go around and tell all the carnies to stay clear away from people, the guys wearing trench coats. That they're up to, sabotaging the circus.
Just realized it's all stuck on my face. I'm sorry.
We should definitely, be there with O'Dowd and convince him to go, not only to convince him to sell it, but to convince him to sell it back to the fish folk. Not only is it the right thing to do, but it'll stop any more of whatever this is.
Yeah, but the question is, what do they want with him? Or what are they going to do with him?
Well, Nichols says to you, he says, look, he says, O'Dowd is not a very trustworthy person. Let me go talk to him first.
Do you want us to come along just to make sure that you're safe?
He says, tell you what, you come along in a few minutes. But let me have a few words with him first.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
So Nichols goes towards the guy's thing.
And we're going to walk right behind him without him really noticing us. Because right now I don't really trust O'Dowd. So.
Where do you want to use this time to check the monkey?
The monkey's going to be there.
Okay.
But if O'Dowd ends up attacking or trying to kill Nichols, then somebody should be there to stop him.
Okay, so you can hear as you're getting you're coming up to O'Dowd's trailer that he's inside sort of cursing to himself, and you don't know what he's doing. He's rummaging through something, or it sounds like he maybe just broke something, or as Nichols gets up there. And Nichols looks back and he sees you, and he just sort of, gives you one of these. But he knocks on the door and then just opens it and goes inside. And you hear O'Dowd, he's like, what? And he's like, we need to we need to return the fish boy. And you hear O'Dowd says, I ain't just going to give that thing up. He says that professor offered $6,000 for it. He says, if we give it to him, then it's his problem and not ours. And you hear Nichols sort of being like, I don't think that's a good idea. And O'Dowd's, he says, I know how we can solve this whole fucking thing. He says, I'll kill that little fucker. And he suddenly, you hear sort of a stumbling as if Nichols gets pushed out of the way, and the door comes slamming open, and O'Dowd's not really running, but storming towards the freak show tent.
Yeah,
and you're saying, like, I'm going to wring that little fucker's neck.
And I'm going to say, no, you're not. We're not going to let you do that. Nah.
He's like, you just try and fucking stop me.
Yeah?
So.
Didn't you just see what I did to Clown Boy over there?
Actually, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, well. His arm is hanging halfway off.
Anyways, he's not listening. He's just heading that direction. So what do you guys want to do?
I'm going to storm after him. And I'm going to have my hand on my gun.
You guys? How about you guys?
Can I? All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to run ahead, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to put my hand in his chest and stop him. I'm going to say, look, either you sit down and we talk about this, or my friend over here is going to put a bullet in your back, and I'm going to put a fist in your face. So I'm going to roll. Can I roll an intimidation?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be intimidated.
I don't know, Tom. That's an O2. So.
Okay, you get an O2. So what he does is he looks at you and he's like, you don't think I'll punch a woman? He says, like hell I won't punch a woman. But he's not punching you. And he is stopped.
Okay. And Gwendolyn, she leans forward and she points at her face and says, right here, big man.
Well, now you're just asking. You can still persuade him to hit you?
No,
persuade can work both ways.
I'm delaying for the police.
Oh, it's going to take them a good half an hour to get here.
Oh.
That doesn't matter. So, as long as you can take him out,
Well, now he looks just completely frustrated. He says,
look, and I'll walk up and I'll say, look, these Innsmouth guys want the fish boy. You want some money. He wants some money. You guys want to part ways. This works for everybody.
He says, yeah, but those Innsmouth people are only offering half of what that professor is. Why don't we give it to the professor?
Is the professor here?
I know they call him on the phone.
Yeah, and it will take him how long to get here?
Well, the Innsmouth folk are in
town. They're in town right now. They're the ones who have been sabotaging this entire the entire day.
And he's like, I have no way of contacting them in town. And he reaches in and he pulls out a business card, and he's like, I've got Marsh's phone number here, and this is an Innsmouth number.
Listen, O'Dowd, here's why giving the fish boy back to the Innsmouth folk is in your best interest. What happens if the Innsmouth folk come back here and you don't have the fish boy?
Well, tell them the professor has him.
Yeah, but what are they going to do to you?
What's stopping them from hurting you? You sold it to the professor. Yeah, they're going to go after the professor, but after they're done with you.
Once the kid's not here, they have no reason whatsoever to bother us anymore.
Well, maybe out of spite. Did you not see what happened to the Ringling guy? What were you doing all day? And then I tell him about the Ringling guy. I'm like, he stumbled in to the circus earlier today. They had him. They tortured this guy. This guy is now mentally unstable. He's crazy now. What do you think they're going to do to you?
And Nichols is like, look, we have to get rid of this. There won't be a freak show and there won't be a circus anymore. He says it'll be lucky if we even have anybody come through the gates tomorrow when we open. This is going to be a major scandal. It's probably going to be the end of the circus. And Nichols, O'Dowd is just like, fuck. He's like, fine. And
Okay.
he takes
So
the business card and he looks at Gwendolyn, and he's just like, you contact him. And he flings the card at you, and he turns around and storms back towards his thing. I should write all these words down
Okay.
so that I can remember them. I'm emotional.
His card.
So, yeah.
His card. All right, so I pick up the card and I twirl it and put it in my coat pocket, even though it's the dead of summer and I don't care. I look at the group and I say, "Shall we call them?" And I just turn around and I'm gonna go look for a payphone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those boys should have beat down this guy over here, Dots over here, instead of our friendly security guard. Maybe we should spread a rumor that it wasn't the guard who impregnated the young girl. It was Dots over here.
That's a completely different town.
I know.
We're talking about Dunwich, not Innsmouth.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about the guys who beat up Ralph earlier.
You mean Brad Rayburn?
Brad, I mean, yeah.
Right. They were from Dunwich, which is only a few miles from here, from where you are now.
But what I'm saying here is rumors can spread quite quickly. Maybe when he's ready to leave, he gets his ass kicked.
You're just going to make up some nasty story about O'Dowd. So.
Yeah, so he can get his ass kicked.
My guess is you don't have to look very far to find a nasty story about O'Dowd. All right, so...
Can I recommend to Nichols that he put one or two guards on the fish boy?
He's like, yeah. He says it's probably a good idea. And by now, you've got kind of a crowd around you. So
I'll also let Nichols. I mean, I imagine Nichols was there when we found the stuff around the clown's mouth. I'll tell him. I'll warn everybody else about these guys. Tell them to stay away from any guys in the trench coats.
Well, he says and you're telling everybody they're all most of them are here now, and he's
Okay.
like, Nichols turns to a couple of the roustabouts, and he says, I need you guys to, in part or in full, break down O'Dowd's tent so that we can move the fish boy. I assume tomorrow, if we need to. So he sort of takes a little control. You guys do this, you guys do that. O'Dowd at this point doesn't give a shit. He's in his cabin, and you don't hear any sound coming from in there. So he's probably just sulking.
Good.
All right. So next step, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go to visit the little fish boy.
Okay.
And make sure everything in there is fine. And then if he comes up, I'll let him know that some men are going to come and get him. He may be from your hometown, more or less. So they might be taking you home.
All right. So you go into the tent and you sort of sit there with him. And Nichols has asked the Wolfman and the Snake guy to just sort of keep an eye on in there. Because neither one of them is really intimidated by O'Dowd.
Okay.
And all right, so you're doing that. Gwendolyn and Paul. What are you guys doing?
I don't know what Paul is doing, but like I said, I'm going to find a payphone to organize a meetup, whether it be, well, I would prefer it to be here because we still have no idea how to transport the fish boy, but I'm going to find a payphone and I'm going to type in the number and I'm going to try and get a hold of someone, even if it takes me all evening.
Okay. Paul, what are you doing?
I guess I'll see that Lenore is okay, and with the two other guys standing guard, she'll be fine. So if Gwendolyn is okay, I'll go with her.
Okay.
Yeah, come along, Paul, let's go.
Well, Aylesbury is a fairly good-sized town. You guys are on the center green of the town, so all the way around the green are buildings, commercial buildings, and there are payphones. So it's not hard to find a payphone at all. So you get to the payphone and you dial the number. And the phone rings once, twice, 3 times, and there's a click and an answer, and a voice is like, yeah.
This is Gwendolyn Jones. We're here to talk about the Fish Boy, part of the Nichols Circus.
Hold on. There's a pause, and after a couple of seconds, you hear another voice come on, and he's like, "Oh yes, this is Jacob Marsh. What can I do for you?"
Jacob Marsh, the Nichols are now willing to sell to you.
So they finally got the message, huh?
Yes, they got the message. And I say that in the most sarcastic, petty voice possible. And I say, we need to know where we're going to do this meetup, this trade-off of the money and the fish boy. We don't know how to transport him. We don't know if he can even be out of water.
All right, listen. Well, you've obviously been transporting him around, so he says, give me a second. He says,
Excuse me.
we had agreed to 4,000.
Right? That's fine. They just want it gone. So.
And you hear him sort of turning away from the phone, and you hear him saying, "But where do you? Huh? Okay, yeah. All right." He comes back and he says, "We want you to be at Asenath Cove on the beach." He says that's right below Ipswich Bay. It's about 4 miles south of Innsmouth, about 7 miles northwest of Gloucester. He said it's quiet, it's secluded. And he says, "I want you to bring the fish boy tomorrow night at midnight." That sounds good. We'll meet you on the beach and we'll make the exchange.
Now, Jacob, I'm going to ask if everything's not on the level, you're not going to get the fish boy.
He says, "Look, bring O'Dowd, bring Nichols, you guys come along, and you'll be fine."
All right. Look forward to it. And I hang up. And I turn to Paul and I say, all right, now we got to get the fish boy to Innsmouth. We got to convince O'Dowd to tell us how to move this thing. All right, let's go.
Good job negotiating.
Well, I feel like it's a trap. I feel like we're walking into a trap anyways. So,
Did I hear you say midnight?
Yeah, which is weird to me. I know. Well, I mean, it's a drive, right? Right, Tom? It's like a 5-hour drive, right?
It's probably a 3-hour drive at this point. Let's say there was just a little bit more conversation than that, and the reason he gives you is we don't want any outside we Innsmouth folk like our privacy. We don't want any people watching what we're doing.
Okay.
And he says, and no police.
Okay. I let him know that the police are already investigating, the murder here. I don't feel like we're going to involve the police in anything else. So.
Now, he says something when you say that's very odd.
Okay.
He says, I don't know anything about no murders. But he just gives you the information, and then that's pretty much the end of your conversation.
Okay, so then I look at Paul as well, and I say, Jacob Marsh doesn't know anything about the murders.
Well, of course he would say that, but if you were honest, that's trouble.
Yeah, but why would he lie at this point? They're getting what they want. There's no tie back to them. Why would they lie?
Yeah. So who else is interested? The professor? Could he
Professor? Maybe, or maybe this whole thing is just everything is just a ploy done by O'Dowd. Maybe he wants to break down the circus and go on his own way with the fish boy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, but I mean, it's either that, something that we don't know yet,
yeah,
or have failed to find, or it's the professor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we'll find out more if we go to the ape's body. I think that Lenora was right on the nail about that. So, do you think we should go grab her and go to the ape?
Yeah, definitely just check that out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's late at night. What time of night is it?
It's probably about 11:30 at this point.
I mean, it's not like we could find somebody to tell us what this substance is, but.
No, but maybe we can see it, and if there is stuff on the mouth of the ape, then we know it was the Innsmouth folk, because everyone's saying the Innsmouth folk were over there, they were hanging out over there, But if there isn't, there's something else at play.
That's true.
My main thought is that the geek he's exhibiting similar things as the geek. The geek will eat anything. So what if, and I know, and this is probably just like a crazy, this is a crazy idea. What if the geek ate something that was part of the freak show or the circus that isn't meant to really be food and went crazy from eating it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, unless this is all, the whole plan is just to keep, I'm not saying it's poison, but keep dosing the members of the circus so that the whole thing just shuts down.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense, but it just feels incomplete. I don't know why, but it feels incomplete.
Yeah.
Let's go talk with Lenora and see what we can find at the 8.
I wonder too. I mean, you just made a phone call to Innsmouth, right?
Yeah.
So if there are people here, like within the last hour or so, then it's not Jacob himself that's doing this. I'm wondering if maybe there's another faction within Innsmouth.
That could be possible. That, or Jacob just doesn't know about it yet.
Right, that's true.
It literally just happened.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah, he could have just,
but
hired some thugs and then it got out of hand.
Yeah. Do you think, Paul, there's any way, because you're a doctor, I'm not a doctor, do you think there's any way to figure out what the stuff, this ichor, is?
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure. I mean, there might be a hospital nearby. Maybe we could take it there and have it analyzed.
What was the professor a professor of?
From
Psychology. He's a psychologist. Oh, the professor at the university?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Was he a zoologist?
He is Professor Jacob Handy, biology department, Miskatonic University.
Maybe, hypothetically, let's say that it was the professor who was doing this, that he was sabotaging, that we think it was the Innsmouth folk, but it was really him. What if the thing that's being distributed, was put in the food, is biological? It is like a hallucinogen, it is a poison, but it's a biological, substance. It's not, he has access to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. What if, and I mean, he could disguise himself pretty easily if he just throws on a trench coat and then make it look like they're doing it so that O'Dowd doesn't sell to them and sells to him.
Exactly. Pork pie hat, trench coat, who's going to tell the difference?
Yeah.
Especially in the evening. What if, and I'm guessing, Tom, that we're walking at this point. Okay. So, I mean, you decide when Lenora jumps in here. But what if we took the ichor, we took the substance, we somehow get a hold of the professor, we say, hey, why don't you analyze this? And maybe we see if he gets a reaction to what we bring to him. Maybe we can talk to him there. We can maybe put some pieces of the puzzle and eliminate him as a suspect.
Yeah, except what's to prevent him from just denying it?
Well, that's where you come in, Mr. Psychologist.
Well, Arkham, where the Miskatonic University is about 2 hours away. Got to go through there to get to where you're going to go.
Yeah, so it's, maybe we can stop there tomorrow, or we can just drive back tonight and give him a call tonight and then schedule something for tomorrow.
Did O'Dowd...
It'll be late when we get... Go ahead.
Did O'Dowd say he didn't know how to contact the professor?
No, he said he could contact him. He probably has another phone number.
Okay, so we just go get that from O'Dowd. We need to learn how to transport the thing anyways. So, I don't know. It's up to Paul. It's up to you and Lenora. I'm just the hot-tempered little hussy with fists of steel.
I know.
So
hanging around with some feisty women here.
I know. So I mean, it's up to you. What do you think we should do?
Well, let's find Lenore. Let's get her input too.
If it makes any difference, Gwendolyn, you weren't here. They did establish that part of the stage where the tank is actually the back of a truck.
I was there for that.
Yeah, that's how they move it from town to town.
Yeah, I just don't know if the three of us can lift it up and attach to the truck and get the wheels and get the truck and all that stuff. I was wondering if we needed like a whole crew in order to get it on the truck and get on wheels and lift it up or whatever.
I don't think I made myself clear. It's on the truck right now. It's the
truck.
It's on the truck. Is the part of the stage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not. Yeah, I thought that it was its own thing, and then it would be lifted up onto a trailer or a truck, and then it would go. Okay, so then never mind.
They make moving things as easy as possible.
Yeah, so never mind. All we need is the keys. All we need is the keys.
Well, and some disassembly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the structure at this point. But
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
By this time, you've gotten back to Lenore, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about when you're in the tent.
Okay.
All right, so how did it go?
Well, it sounds like we got a deal. Gwendolyn negotiated a time and a place for drop-off.
Okay. So when are we dropping them off?
Well, we came up with this alternative theory that maybe it's not the Innsmouth people behind this. Maybe it's the original professor from Arkham who's impersonating the Innsmouth people.
Why would you think that?
He would create all this havoc, put on a disguise so that he was seen, make everybody think that it was the Innsmouth people, so that O'Dowd wouldn't sell to them and would sell to the professor.
I see.
Which is what he wanted to do in the first place. You know, he was just ensuring that he would get it. Not only that, but he's a professor of biology, and maybe he has access to something that he can put in the food.
Well, we can do a quick. I can try to do a chemical analysis, but I have no tools for that right here. So, I mean, if we were back in Arkham, I could probably try to run some tests quickly.
I thought you were a librarian.
I am, but I have chemistry. I have chemistry, and I also have botany now because of those books.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We were actually thinking that regardless, we would show the professor the ichor or whatever and have him analyze it, so that way not only can we get an answer as to what it is, possibly, but also gauge his response to us being like, hey, look what we found. Maybe he'll say something and slip up, or body language will give him away. Anything that Paul over here, I almost called you Frank, anything that Paul over here can use to determine whether or not he's lying.
Okay, and if he analyzes things, I like I said, I do know a bit about chemistry, so I could tell if he's lying about that.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat. I'm not a professional, but I'm versed.
But now all we need to do is we need a sample, we need the keys to the truck, we need the number of the professor, and am I missing anything? Am I missing anything else? Just those three things?
A pack of cigarettes.
And sunglasses.
As you are discussing this, Nichols comes in, and he comes up to you, Gwendolyn, and he's like, so what do we know?
Tomorrow, midnight, I can't remember the name of the cove. I almost called it Starfish Cove, but that's not what it's called. What is the name of the code, Tom?
SNF.
SNF?
Cove.
Yeah, that cove. So midnight there. He says for us to bring O'Dowd and you, because it sounds like what we're doing is we're doing a literal money transaction, and then we're giving them the fish boy.
And how much are they giving O'Dowd for this?
4,000.
And he looks actually kind of surprised, and he's like, O'Dowd lied to me.
What do you mean?
He says, I think he said to me like 1,500.
Why would he lie to you?
Oh,
maybe to keep.
He only owes me like 500 for my part in what he paid.
So all you care about is 500.
Yeah, I don't really care, but O'Dowd's He's damaged goods.
That's putting it lightly.
Nichols, I don't know if this was asked in the previous night when I wasn't here. I was so drunk, out of my mind, I wasn't here. But where did O'Dowd find the geek? Like, what is the true, real story behind that?
I don't know. That was before he came to join us.
Okay. What about those Dunwich fetuses? Know anything about those?
All of that stuff's been part of his show. He's only been with our show for 3 years.
So that's all stuff that's happened before. Okay. I have a nagging suspicion that O'Dowd is kind of a sleazy character, and I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if not only has he lied to you and all the patrons, but he's sort of holding back the missing piece to this puzzle.
He sort of leans forward and he says, "And Gwendolyn, I thought that you were once circus folk. None of us are really that honest. He says, we have to survive, so..." He says, "But yeah, some of..." And he sort of motions, in the general, as if O'Dowd were standing there. He's just like, "Yeah, some people are worse than others."
It's just, it seemed like O'Dowd would lie about literally anything, not just to make a living, but just for the sake of lying. So, I mean, am I crazy? And I looked at the others and I'm like, am I crazy here? Like, am I the only one that feels like O'Dowd is sort of like the missing piece to this mystery, this puzzle?
Well, Paul's a psychologist. So, Paul, do a psychology roll.
On Gwendolyn?
No, on your opinion of O'Dowd.
07.
Yeah. It's a pathological liar.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't trust that guy from the start.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what if he knows more than he's letting on?
Well, I'm sure he does. I mean, his whole life is a lie. The freak show is a lie. He didn't find that guy in the South Seas. I mean, we don't know where he found him, but he didn't find him in the freaking South Seas.
Is there any way, Nichols, for us to maybe find out? I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of to get information out of O'Dowd is to beat the living shit out of him, but I don't think that's really an option.
He's like, at this point, we just need to get that fish boy out of here and back to Innsmouth and move on, because I've still got, this is our business. This is what we do during the summer, and during the winter we got no business. We have to make enough money to survive through the winter, or we all starve.
All right. Well,
I have a really horrible feeling that tomorrow's going to be a shitty day.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that tomorrow night is going to be even shittier. I don't trust these guys, and I think that that you guys will be. Oh, I think you guys are going to be in danger. So
that was the wolf man. He couldn't help himself.
Pipe down, Ralph.
He says, "Look," he says, "my chief concern is the money we make from the circus. And it's not me. I have to feed all of these people. I have to take care of all of these people. So I just need the problem solved. And yeah, I think that you're wise not to trust, so we need to not be stupid."
Yeah.
He says, "I'll be bringing a gun."
Nichols, do you have sway over O'Dowd? I mean, if he refuses to go,
No, not really.
refuses to sell, or
Not really.
So we just have to
He'll
commit
go.
sin.
I'm sure he'll go.
Okay.
Because it's his money.
Yeah.
He says, let me tell you something. We carnies, we don't like a lot of outside involvement. And those Innsmouth folk, they don't like a lot of outside involvement. They don't want to create a mess, and we don't want to create a mess. So my guess is this will all just go down like they said. We'll give them the fish boy, they'll give us the money, and we'll come back. And they won't bother us anymore.
Okay.
All right.
We have a plan?
That's my opinion.
All right.
So. And if you'll excuse me, I have to go organize the people since our chief roustabout is now stuck in the hospital. He says I'm going to have some people disattach all of this here so that we can move the fish boy. He says we should be able to move him tomorrow, afternoon, or tomorrow. Well, I don't know, afternoon is probably a good time.
Yeah.
So he turns around and leaves.
All right. So what do you guys want to do now? Should we go and check out this ape?
Yeah. Perhaps get a sample.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually get there, I'd say almost like just in time, because a couple of the roustabouts have dug a hole, and they're getting ready to bury the ape. So
I'll go up I'll say one moment. I imagine there's plenty of lights around.
yeah,
So I'll go ahead, look for the ichor, and if there's any, I'll try to take a sample, but now I need something to put it in. Like they have like a cotton swab, like a Q-tip type of a thing. I don't know if they had Q-tips back then.
no, I don't think so. Yeah. When you look at the chimpanzee's mouth, it's an animal's mouth, so it's pretty ew to begin with. The yellow and the stuff might be that same residue, but then again, it might just be, plaque from his teeth, or it's an animal.
Well, we'll take some from him and from the clown brother. What's going on with him?
The police have arrived. By the time you guys came inside, I was going to say that the police had arrived, and they start to take the clown, and the clown immediately seizes and goes limp. They do their best to try to figure out what happens, but they're pretty sure that he's dead.
And they don't really care.
Yeah, they're going to take his body anyway.
Before they do, I'll ask if I can take a sample from the clown as well.
You're able to.
All right.
All
So
right.
we have the two samples. We can compare them and see if it's the same thing and see what it is.
Okay. Gwendolyn, what I had forgot to say was that the police had come, and in their attempt to get the clown into the paddy wagon, he had seized and died.
Oh.
So.
Shit, okay.
He had never stopped being so agitated, and the guess is that his heart just gave out.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, so I guess it is kind of like a poison then.
Hmm.
If its end result is kill someone, Lenora, you said that you have skills in botany, yes?
I know a bit about botany from a really crazy son of a bitch that lived across the street from me several years ago. But yeah,
Is there any plant that would do this?
I'm pretty sure Mr. Corbett had plants that could probably do that and more.
How about anything like just like naturally occurring in nature that would cause someone to become so agitated?
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of things like that out there. I mean, poisonous mushrooms, just some other plants that we probably never come across.
No.
Well, instead of me saying that, can I roll a botany on that?
You can't look at some little substance.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying for the substance, but I mean, he's asking if there's any sort of plants that would have that sort of effect on somebody.
That's pharmacology. You don't really have that kind of knowledge.
Sure.
I mean, your guess is there's plants do all sorts of things. There's probably a plant that'll do
that's
something.
pretty much
like
what I
that.
said.
Okay, well, I thought I would ask at least. Okay.
I mean, if it was botany, it would point more to the professor.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way we could determine if it has an oceanic source.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Why is it always the page that I'm looking for is the one that I can't find?
The GM curse.
There it is. Okay.
Is it a good page? Does it have good things?
It's got all sorts of things about the sedative carcinogenic. That's odd. It's like somebody's kicked me in the face. Sorry, that was metagaming. Sorry, folks. All right, so what do you want to do next? Now, it is kind of late.
Yeah. So after we did that, I say we go back to the hotel, or go to a hotel. We're in a brand new town. Find a place to stay, and are we going with them, or are we all heading to Arkham first and meeting up with these guys?
You got to tell me.
No, I'm asking
Oh,
I'm asking these guys.
What is your personal opinion, Lenore? I think that we should go first. That's my opinion. I think that we should go to Arkham first, but I want to hear your guys' opinion.
Okay. That sounds fine to me. I mean, it would give us more time to analyze the substance, get a few things that we might need for tomorrow night, and prepare.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think.
Okay.
I think you hit on it earlier. We have a lot of pieces of the puzzle, but I feel like there's something missing. We just haven't found that yet. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So other than that, I think this is a great idea. I'm going to bed. Bye.
We don't need to convince O'Dowd of all this, right? He's basically going along.
well, I think Nichols has basically you've told Nichols has
Right.
talked to him.
Right. Okay. I just want to double check.
All right. And Nichols has dealt with him for 3 years, so he knows how to handle him a little bit better than anybody else. All right, so you guys are going to go wherever you're staying in Aylesbury?
Yeah.
And, all right, so we'll assume you go to bed, you sleep through the night, and you get up the next morning. Of course, you probably have some restless dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so it's morning. Now, if they're going to follow the same schedule, the circus is going to open about 11 o'clock in the morning as opposed to in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got a few hours in the morning if you wanted to.
I had a thought that if maybe the professor, I keep forgetting his name, the guy from Arkham.
Professor Harding? What was it?
Jacob Hardy?
Professor Jacob Harding.
I just happen to think that if he's associated with the school, with Arkham University, I wonder if we could call them and find out if he kept a schedule or not, and if we could place him in town, or if his secretary or somebody might say, oh, no, he's been here all week.
Okay. That would make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, we know that he was at the circus the other night, so.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, you remember he showed up.
Yeah, but that was back in Arkham, right?
Right. We moved it twice now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
You know what, Paul? I think I might just give him a call.
Okay.
Does anyone mind if I call, or should we have one of you guys call?
Sure.
You're the best at that, so.
Yeah, I've got a pretty high skill on that. So, all right. So, I hit the operator, and I tell the operator I'd like to speak with the Miskatonic University.
Well, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this in the morning, right? We're doing this in the morning.
It is
Okay.
morning.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think would it be natural sciences, or would it be a biology department? Either one.
It'll be the biology department.
Okay.
All right. Well, once this is the 1920s, you get a hold of the local operator, who takes a few minutes to connect with the operator at the switchboard in Arkham, and then she connects you to the university administration offices, and the administration secretary, or whoever it is who's on the phone, she says, yes, who are you trying to reach?
Hi there. I'm trying to reach a Mr. Jacob Harding. He recently missed an appointment with me, actually.
Professor
I'm trying to
Harding?
get in touch with him. Yeah, I was wondering if he's in his office.
Which department is he in?
Biology?
He's like, just a moment. She says, well, he's probably in classes at the moment, but we don't have individual phones in the rooms. I can have somebody take a message to him. How urgent is it?
It's rather urgent. A man has died. So,
oh my.
Would it be possible? Yes, oh my. Would it be possible to speak with the secretary, or are you just the office administrator for all different professors?
What I can do is, since it involves somebody who's died, let me send a message over to him. Will you hold for a while? It might take
I can hold for a while.
It might take 10 minutes.
10 minutes is fine. 10 minutes is fine.
And she says, all right, I'll see if I can get a hold of him. All right.
Okay.
So this is the day and age when you had to wait. It's literally,
which is fine.
Has to go find him. So
yeah, that's fine.
After about 10 minutes, the woman's voice comes on again. She says, I have the professor for you here. And
okay.
You hear the sound of the phone moving through the air, and you hear him come on, and he says, yes, this is Professor Hardy.
Professor Harding, this is Gwendolyn Jones. We met recently at the Nichols Circus in Arkham. Do you remember me?
I think so, yes. You're the young girl with the black hair?
Uh, yes, I am.
Ah, oh yes, okay, I remember.
Uh, you're interested in the fish boy.
Yes, but they said something about somebody dying.
Yes, someone did recently die. One of the clowns actually went on a murderous rampage, killed two people, and then he himself expired on his way to the
Oh
hospital.
my God.
Yes. What we have is we have two samples. We're wondering if we could possibly come down and speak with you and maybe have you analyze them. It's for the police investigation.
Well, where are you now?
We're currently in, where the hell are we?
Ellsbury.
Allsbury.
We're in Ellsbury.
Salisbury. He says, well, that's a couple of hours away. Um, I will be here all day. Have you heard anything more about the fish boy? Is Mr. O'Dowd willing to sell?
Unfortunately, we have no real knowledge of that. However, I did hear something about you being at the circus yesterday. Is that correct?
No, no, I've been
You
here. I was at the circus when it was in Arkham.
That's right. You were at the circus when it was in Arkham. You weren't there yesterday. Is that right?
No, it's been a few days.
Well, then I'll have to tell that bouncer, that security officer friend of mine, that he has his information wrong. I was looking all around for you, trying to spot you,
Oh,
trying to
yes, I'm
speak
sorry.
with
No,
you.
I have classes.
You have classes. Um, does he have summer classes? Like, is this university still running? I don't know if they had summer classes back in 1920.
He has classes.
So, all right, he has
Otherwise,
classes.
he wouldn't even be at the university if he didn't have classes.
All right, he has classes. We're gonna say that. Um, well, all right.
He says,
Would it be
well, I'll tell
possible
you
for us
what.
to?
He says, yes, meet me, come to the administration office. And, well, he says, let's see, what time is it now? Are you leaving there immediately?
Are we leaving immediately?
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
We're leaving immediately.
Well, the easiest way to find me is in the middle of the campus. There's a fountain. Have you been to Miskatonic before? Actually, you've all been to Miskatonic before.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have.
Because there's a large fountain in the middle. You know where that is?
I do.
Says
I
you
do know
can
where
meet
that
me
is.
there. Uh, what time did we say it was in the morning? Let's say it's 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Okay.
should be
He
noon
says,
when we arrive.
he says, why don't you meet me there at 1 o'clock?
All right. Since it'll be lunchtime, bring sandwiches. All right, toodles.
And what is this that you want me to analyze?
It is some sort of yellowish ichor. Like it's like an oil.
All right, I'll do my best. Thank you. And then he hangs
Can
up.
I
All
can
right.
I do a psychology roll to see, like, when I said that, was there anything weird about the way he sounded?
Go ahead and do a psychology roll.
Okay, what is 40? Nope.
Okay. Well,
It's a 69.
he sounded like the way he sounded. He sounded, you do pick up that he sounded kind of disappointed that you weren't calling about the fish boy.
Yeah. Well, and we can't let him know if he is a suspect. We can't let him know that there's a that we're giving it away.
Or maybe we
But
can. You see, well, maybe we can let it slip when we do meet him to see how he reacts to that.
it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. And if he freaks out, we're there. You know. Okay, yeah, genius idea. All right.
And even if he doesn't freak out, if we were to say, oh, now we're gonna have to stay up until midnight and meet with these Smith folks just to, make sure this thing goes by well. I'm not looking forward to them, yada yada yada, and then see if he's piquing up an interest to see if he might follow us out there.
That's a good idea, because if he is like so desperate to have him that he'd kill for it, he'd most certainly follow for it.
And I mean, there might be another thing too. He might not have been here, but he might have sent somebody here. That can be also
That's true.
another thing too.
Or
guys,
maybe it's
it might have been a couple of students. He says, "Oh, I'll let you off on this test or something like that if you do this. It's pull this prank or something like that." And they might not have known what they were doing. They could have just been passing. They thought was liquor.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Okay, so let's head to Arkham.
Yep.
All right. Now, what are your arrangements with the circus? I mean, they're obviously not leaving with the fish boy yet. Are you going to meet them somewhere, or are you going to...
Yeah. I mean, technically, it's like a 2-hour drive, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's to Arkham.
Right. What I was thinking is, and they have to go through Arkham. I mean, they can meet us here, and we can go with them. Or, which may not sound the best, we can come back here and then go with them. That's a lot of driving.
A hell of a lot of driving, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could tell Nichols...
Or you could meet them on the beach.
Or we can meet them on the beach, but I would rather go with them.
Yeah, I don't like that idea. I say that they meet us at Miskatonic and we go with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you arrange. You're going to meet them at the Miskatonic at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll take another, hour?
Take another hour after that to get wherever you're going. It might be a little longer because you're going to be on windy roads getting...
Yeah, in the dark.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. What else would you like to do? Well, you're now traveling. We'll say that you travel to back to Arkham. Go through wherever. Go through Bolton. Get back to Arkham. I'll just give you some chance. It's 12 o'clock when you arrive back in Arkham. So you got an hour before your meeting with the professor.
All right. Can we call what was her name? Miss Coates, the one that had the psychic attack, or the one that had the visions. To see if she has any other sort of visions.
That's a good idea.
You attempt a number of phone calls to various members of the Arcane Society, but you don't get any answers. You do get an answer from somebody's wife who says that they're out of town. They're doing something.
Okay.
You don't know what's up.
I got you.
They don't know what's up.
Okay. All right. So, okay.
I just had another thought.
Sure.
What if the drink, the liquid, whatever, it for lack of a better term, it's a red herring. What if the reason people are going crazy is because of the psychic link to the fish boy?
Well, we haven't been infected.
I know, but maybe it's because we haven't, because the geek it had his cell was like the closest one, right? Maybe I don't know.
Well,
Maybe the fish boy is the reason why they're going crazy.
I mean, if that was the case, I mean, if the fish boy wanted to attack somebody, he would have attacked Odell. Odell was the one that's been mean to him throughout this entire time there at that circus.
For the
True.
sake of clarity, you have enough evidence that somebody came in the back of the tent, they fiddled with the geek's cage, and could have slipped him something.
Yeah.
You have enough circumstantial evidence that somebody probably slipped something into Gorgo's food or drink. And you also have evidence that somebody was flipping a bottle to the clown.
Okay. Yeah, because I realized that because we only met her for like a second. What if there's more to it? I don't know. I'm trying to look for answers because there's a hole in the mystery and I'm trying to solve it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
When you mentioned Miss Coates, you reminded me that when she initially told us her visions, she said something about a book, foreign language.
Yeah.
We never found anything like that.
Right. I mean, the only real reader there was Marty. Just saying the kid was a little too nice.
God damn it! Now I'm like, oh shit. All right.
Paul, do an idea roll.
I remember I was trying to pay attention to that before, but I kind of got sidetracked and then I lost 40. Yeah, 70.
Okay. I actually, you brought this up once before again, and I explained. What she had said was her impression from this thing. It was like reading a book in a foreign language. You knew it was language, but you didn't have any idea what it meant or what it said. She wasn't talking literally about a book.
Okay. I misunderstood.
Like the experience was like being out of body. Yeah, okay.
She knew she was receiving information, but she didn't understand what it was that she was receiving.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, any other prep before you meet the doctor?
No, I don't think so. Not for me, at least.
Okay. Everybody agrees?
Yep.
All right. So you're at the fountain, and as you're waiting there, you see, there's students around. It's lunchtime. After a few minutes, you see a man in a tweed suit. He comes out. He looks like a professor. You saw him the other day. He comes out and he recognizes you because he saw you once already, and he says, "Ladies, gentlemen,
yeah, you're right.
Madam, gentlemen, sir. What can I do for you? He for some reason, I'm Professor Hardy." So he goes to shake your hands.
Okay, I'll shake his hand. I'll say, you lead us to the way to the chemistry lab. Matter of fact, I pretty much know this place like the back of my hand. But,
So as you're walking, he's like, so what is this? What is the substance? You think that it's some sort of a
drug, or we found it on the mouths of this sample, and I hold that up. I'm like, it was on the mouth of the clown who went insane and started killing people.
So he takes it and he's sort of looking at the color, and he's, it's kind of a yellowy, amberish color. And he's like, I have no idea. Let's see. Let's take a look at it. So you walk, into the building and up the stairs and down the hall, and you go to one of the labs.
Tom, this whole time I'm going to be watching closely so I can see if he's trying to.
All right. So he sits down and he's just asking you routine questions. Basically, it starts with where did you found it on the mouth, okay. So you think it's something introduced into the food. He gets out the microscope and he examines, takes a sample of it on a slide and he puts it under the microscope and he's looking at it and he's like, yes, let's see, that's kind of unusual. And he pulls a big book off the shelf and he flips through and he's looking at various illustrations of things, and he's like, it's not botanical. And he's flipping through, and he flips through maybe 30 or 40 different pages as he's going, and then he's like, this is it. This is what it looks like. And he's not really saying anything as he's looking, but where his hand is on the book, it's sea urchins. And he's like, yes, it seems to have the overall structure. He says, I think that it comes from sea urchins, which is extremely odd that it would be on the mouth of your victim. So perhaps it's some sort of a poison. He says I'd have to get some of the guys in the chemistry lab to work on it, but it would take a while to analyze that end of the thing.
Understood.
But it's definitely biological.
Okay.
This is very, very odd. So, and then he starts asking you questions about the circus. You said there were murders, and he wants to know about the murders, and I'm not going to go through all the questions, but you can see that he doesn't seem to know anything, but he expresses that he really wants that fish boy, and he continues to say, it may be being abused, and the opportunity for studying it is obvious, and
how would you treat him?
And he's like, well, we scientists treat our specimens very well, otherwise we're tainting the experiment. He's like, I would try to learn everything that I can about him and his species. He says, I don't think that it's a mutation.
No?
I think that they may have found what may turn out to be a mermaid or the elusive sirens or something like that. Something from mythology that we always thought was just nonsense.
Interesting. Yeah, and then, as he's talking and, we start to get comfortable, or at least visibly look comfortable, and then I'll start gossiping, and I'll say, oh, yeah, unfortunately, we think that these guys from Innsmouth were the ones who were poisoning the people from the circus.
Well, he's like those Innsmouth folk are bad folk.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, Odell struck a deal with the Innsmouth people, and
what?
Yeah, they're apparently going to take the fish boy to them sometime tonight, I guess.
Well, why on earth would he do that?
Well, he's got him. I mean, they've got him scared,
He becomes extremely agitated. He's like, but I offered him $6,000. He says, he can't do this to me. I need to have that fish boy. He says, do you have any idea what I've done?
No, what have you done?
He says, I've practically mortgaged myself into the poorhouse to have enough money to buy that fish boy, and O'Dowd's going to go behind my back and sell it to somebody else.
Well, I guess you were just offering him money. This guy is offering some money as well as not bothering them with murder and tearing down their livelihood.
Well, he suddenly becomes very upset, and he's like, I'm sorry, I don't have any more time for this today. And he says, please see yourselves out. And he gets up and he storms out of the room. He's extremely agitated.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our answer there.
The plot thickens.
Well, in my mind, it's absolute. It was the Innsmouth folk poisoning people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I have a feeling that the good professor is going to do something completely irrational.
Well, I mean, you heard him. He mortgaged his house. I mean, it's just,
I'm pissed off too.
But why would he do that unless O'Dowd agreed to having the deal? It sounded to me like O'Dowd never agreed to the deal.
yeah. Unless he, I guess with O'Dowd, he's probably playing him off of the Innsmouth guys and the Barland and Bailey guys, and
Yeah.
trying to up the price.
Mm-hmm. Playing all sides at once.
Yeah, his own private auction.
So, completely out of the blue, I got to ask. Who here thinks that the Cove meeting is going to be a trap?
Or I'm certain it's going to be a trap.
As am I. What are we going to do about it?
You know how to shoot a gun, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, let's bring some big guns and shoot.
But no way. So these are the people that we're giving the fish boy to. Is that still what we want to do?
No, actually want to put the fish boy into the ocean and let him go about his merry way.
Yeah, but they said that this was like their kind or whatever, that the fish boy was theirs or something like that. Now, I don't necessarily completely agree with the doctor's theory that this is a new species, but I do think that he is special and he's unique. But I also feel like he has a family, and maybe the Innsmouth folk can help him find that family. I don't think the doctor is very much interested in helping the fish boy. He's interested in his career.
Gwendolyn, do a spot hidden.
Do a spot hidden. And I got a 53, so I pass.
Okay. As you're sort of saying that line, your eye sort of focuses just past Dr. Smithson's head, and you notice that in this biology department there are rows and rows of shelves with biological specimens in jars. So
I'm gonna go up to the shelves.
No, there's nothing in particular. I'm just saying that considering the scientific mind in this place is they dissect things and put them into jars. They don't take care of
they don't treat them humane.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's like I said, it's clearly a child that has a family. So, but my thing is that while the Innsmouth folks' intentions are correct, how do we know they're not gonna, shirk us somehow? They're clearly totally fine with playing dirty. They've already poisoned a whole bunch of people and attempted to kill, a whole bunch.
Yeah,
Question.
I can't
Question.
say.
How much? I mean, this is a question to the GM. How much do we know about the Innsmouth folks? Like, do we know?
You don't know much of anything. You know
Okay.
rumors.
Okay.
And most of it is considered inbreeding. You think that there's a lot of incest that goes on, so that's where they get these weird mutations.
Hmm.
But you guys feel free to do a Cthulhu Mythos roll. Don't you guys have a little Cthulhu Mythos?
Yes,
I have a 12, yeah. Nope. How does that pass?
Negatory.
Nope.
Okay. So you guys, you might suspect some things, but you don't really have any reference to it.
Okay.
I was just going to say, yes, it seems, for lack of a better word, fishy that we're heading into this deal at midnight with a bunch of shady characters.
By the cove. By the cove.
Yeah. But at the same time, we're bringing them what they want. So I don't see why they would necessarily have a problem with us, other than they might just try to get out of actually paying for it. They might just try to steal.
True, but I don't know. To me, I mean, I feel like they might be the type of people who are like, all right, now that we have what we want, because you gave us such a headache, we're going to, make you pay for that. Like we were telling Odell, if he were to sell it to the professor, they would come after the professor, but they would also deal with him.
And
then
what if...
and then why not just simply scare off the Barlingham guy, instead of like holding him prisoner and making him go insane?
Well, they were all competition to them directly.
True, but he could have, they could have like showed up like regular thugs and say, "Hey, you should go away." Maybe with guns or something like that, and say, "Yeah, you get."
To
Instead,
us,
to
to us, you mean?
No, not to us, but to the other circus guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead of like capturing him and torturing him and then breaking his mind.
Mm-hmm.
These guys seem vindictive. So I don't see them saying, "Oh, well, nice doing business with you. You guys are free to go."
Yeah, or what if they don't want anyone to know about the fish boy? They don't like outsiders. As soon as O'Dowd says, "Hey, there's a fish boy in Innsmouth," what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
More outsiders.
Right.
So
I say that we're all supposed to meet, so this might be might actually be the end.
The end of us?
Yeah.
That sounds ominous.
I'm 90% sure you're going to finish this tonight. If we might have to go over a little bit, but it's better than doing another whole week on it. So.
Okay.
Let's say at this point it is. I just want to give you a chance. 7 p.m.
Okay.
Why don't you go over any plans that you might have and any preparations that you might make? Specifically, I mean, if you're going to carry weapons, what are you carrying?
I'm definitely carrying my little Derringer.
I got my 45.
Okay.
I don't know how else to prepare for these guys, especially the fact that we may be outnumbered. Because, it may be more of them than us. They told you how many people they want to show up. And no police, of course. But you never...
What if we do this... What if we do it Bond style, then? We show up...
What style?
Bond style. Bond exists here in the 30s and the 20s, right? This is like he just came out though.
Oh, I don't go to those dreadful movies. I'm a book reader.
It wouldn't have been a movie.
No, it was a book first.
Ian Fleming.
I think it was
Yeah,
60s, though.
It was the
It was in
60s?
the 60s, yeah.
I thought it came out way earlier than that. All right, well, whatever.
Ian Fleming.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Secret agent style. Like we.
Oh, now you're sounding like one of Jackie's books.
What's it called? Fields of Fire. Fields of Fire. All right. Never mind. Okay. What if we did it where we hold the fish boy and the truck away?
1952. Was the first
1952?
Ian Fleming, yeah.
All right. Okay. So I was way off. But what if we have the fish boy and the truck away from the cove site at first? The three of us go. We say we want the money. We want to see the money, and we want to know that you're going to give us the money, and you have to prove to us you're going to give us the money. We have the fish boy. We know where he is, and if you give us the money, we will. He'll come down here, and then we just as soon as we get the stuff, we signal the car, and the car comes down.
Okay.
So we can just get like a flashlight, and we just shine it into the woods.
So how about this? How about both you and Paul go down there? You can do the talking along with Nichols and Odell. I'll stay with the car, and I'll stay with the fish child. And when you give me the signal, I will drive the truck down there.
Okay. And the signal will just be flashlight into the woods. You should be able to see it.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys need a gun.
Also, let me get a pair of binoculars while we're at it.
Sure. And yes, Paul, I think you should get a gun.
All right.
Okay.
Do I have to get a license and wait like 5 days or anything, Tom?
No. You have credit. You have a credit rating.
Since you ladies are packing heat, what do you recommend?
Well, how hard was it to get a Thompson back then?
Yeah, you couldn't get a Thompson.
I can't afford one.
Tommy guns are black market.
Okay. Yeah, because they were military issued, weren't they?
Why don't just go tried and true revolver 45.
It's
what I have.
45. All
Yep.
right.
Tried and true.
So you got a Colt 45.
Colt 45.
All right. Let's move ahead.
It's heavy.
9 o'clock comes. Was there something else?
No, I was going to tell Paul to stop it. As if I can handle a 45, a big strapping man like you can handle one too.
You have a 45 too?
Yes.
And she knows how to use it.
It weighs a ton.
You'll get used to it. Just be careful of the kick. Does have a little kick.
Is there anything I need to know? Just point and shoot?
I actually hang my head in my hand like usually how guys would do when women are like, you just point and shoot.
And don't close your eyes.
Don't close your eyes, Paul.
All right, so 9 o'clock comes, and the truck arrives with the tank on the back of the truck. O'Dowd and Nichols are in the truck.
Okay.
So they're like, are we ready to head out to the cove?
Yep. Are we riding in a truck with them, or are we taking our own vehicle?
You're going to have to take your own car. There's not room in the truck.
Sounds good.
All right.
We should do we inform Nichols and O'Dowd of the plan.
Well, okay, you go ahead and tell them what you want to do. You're gonna leave the truck.
In the woods. I'm assuming there's woods right before the cove. It's New England. I just assume. And we'll take our car down to the beach. We will then get out. Me, Paul, O'Dowd, and Nichols will get out. They'll say, money first, or prove to us you have the money and you're going to give it to us, and then we'll give you the fish kid when we're 100% certain that we're going to get that stuff. We'll flash the flashlight, and then the truck will come down.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and do a knowledge roll to see how familiar you are with the area down by the coast.
Okay. I passed, 53.
Okay. Well, it's very likely that the area that you're talking about, because it's northwest of Gloucester, it's probably marshy, so there's probably no trees. It's probably, the closer you get to the beach, the more sandy, hilly it is. So there won't be much place where you could hide.
You know what we can do?
There won't be forest, but go ahead.
Is there, I mean, if I kind of know the area, is there an area where the truck can park itself that's far enough away to where the Innsmouth folk, they won't go that far, they won't see the truck?
You don't know the area that well. I mean, you just know the kind of landscape you're expecting to see.
Okay. Because the signal then can just be, the Innsmouth folk have two of us as collateral, while the others go back to the truck. Let the truck.
That was weird.
That was sanity loss.
Thomas, what we heard from you was that the others go to the truck, 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 to the truck. It was very strange.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It glitched. It was. We were like, oh no, poor Thomas has lost his mind.
I thought I lost mine.
I lost so much sanity.
So could you say what you said again?
Yeah, this time, the lines, the image won't distort as I talk. Okay, so what if we change the plan a little bit, and we have the truck far enough away that the Innsmouth folk won't go that far. It's far away. It's not like so super far away, like 20 minutes away. Two of us, so four of us arrive. We say money, that stuff, blah blah blah. Innsmouth folk are like, okay, money, this, blah blah blah. We're assured that we're going to get the money. Nichols and O'Dowd go back to they take the car, go back to the truck, let Lenore know that it's safe to bring the truck down, while me and Paul stay there so that we're collateral.
Or instead of putting yourselves as collateral, why don't they stay there and we go back, or you two go back to the truck?
Like me and Paul?
Yeah. There's no need for you two to put yourselves in danger because of these guys' fuck ups.
I wouldn't normally intervene, but I'll just say, I think you're making it overly complicated because I don't understand if you just take the truck to the beach and make the exchange, why that would be any different than bringing the truck a few minutes later and making the exchange. Are you gaining any safety from doing what you're doing?
I guess it was just to kind of...
All you're getting to see is that the money's there.
Right.
But you're going to see if the money's there anyways before you give him the fish boy.
And then they might still turn around.
And if they're going to shoot you, they can show you the money and shoot you just as easily as not show you the money and shoot you. So...
All right.
I don't see what you're gaining from the complexity of your plan.
True. But if they start shooting and I'm in the truck, I can actually ride the truck all the way down there and run them over.
You don't know what the topology is like yet, so
True.
you're assuming that.
That's what I would do. I would assume.
So why don't we, so then hey, how about this?
Well, part of me
Fucking wing it.
Well, part of me wants to let Nichols and Odell go down there and negotiate while we stay in the truck, and while they're down there, we take the fish boy to the ocean and put him back in. And then we drive away and let them all figure it out. And then our job is done, and, there you go. Because my thing here is, this seems to be more or less like a sentient being, and selling a sentient being is kind of like selling a slave, and I'm not really for that.
So, I'm not. I don't really care if O'Dowd gets his money or not. So, like, if the deal goes south for him, that's no skin off my back. And the only other thing I'll say is, and I think our PI Mikey brought this up. If we release this into the ocean, just anywhere, I'm not sure that's, like, if it's young, if it can't fend for itself. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, isn't that just kind of taking a wild animal and just letting it loose in the woods and hoping it finds its way back home?
True, but we don't know what the Innsmouth guys are going to be doing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been taken out of the ocean in the first place.
Yeah.
But at least we're doing our part in releasing it back into its natural habitat.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, I can't do anything better than that,
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think that's the best scenario. That's just me personally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And for some odd reason, I don't understand why I care so much about this kid, but I don't know. I just think it's wrong that what they did.
No, I completely understand.
And I'm swearing off the circus after this, that, what goes on with this.
No,
Right, so,
I completely understand. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to agree with Jeff about what Mikey said. My only reason of giving them back to the Innsmouth folk is just simply because, if what they say is true, they can give it back to the family. If we just drop it off, there's I don't even know the percentage chance of it finding its way back home.
You might as well take a baby and drop it in the woods and hope it finds its family.
Yeah. That's my
True,
only.
But here's the other question too. Where did they find that fisherman? Like where was his boat at? Because it must have been somewhere around this area,
Off the coast of Gloucester.
Which is what, a few miles?
7 miles from the beach.
Yeah, 7 land miles.
Yeah,
I don't know.
How far out?
I don't know. I mean, right. I just told you how I felt about it, but I mean, I'll go with the consensus of the group.
Okay, which means that Jeff is kind of the tiebreaker here. So Jeff just needs to make he just needs to make a decision, Tom, and then we can do what we're gonna do. Okay.
Authorities of the Coast Guard, Massachusetts State Police, and Gloucester Police Departments are investigating the death of Harold Bailey, 63, a local fisherman. Bailey was found dead at sea earlier this week by local fishermen. His body was caught in the fishing nets trapped beneath his boat. The corpse appeared to have been submerged for several days. According to coroner Dr. Whitby Lodge's report further states that Bailey's body showed signs of strangulation, bruises, lacerations, and throat. Unnamed Coast Guard officer stated that Bailey's case is being treated as a homicide. I mean, it's kind of late in the game, but do we have time to... we could contact the Coast Guard, see if they remember where they found the boat. I don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of late in the game. I mean...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Whatever might have attacked the fishermen might have been the parents of this boy. And my thing here is that I don't know. I feel like he or she or it will be able to find its way. But that's just me personally. I don't know.
Come on, Jeff. It's up to you.
Besides, if this boy has been sending out psychic transmissions that Miss Coates picked up, I'm pretty sure it can send psychic transmissions to its family.
So here's an idea. So have we met the truck and the fish boy? Is he in our?
You guys are on your way.
Okay.
Yeah, we're driving. We're driving.
Let me make this just a little easier for you.
Yeah.
All right.
We're trying to survive here.
But your meeting is at midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. You arrive at the cove at 11 o'clock. Okay. The cove is kind of a moon-shaped thing facing the ocean. There's a sandy beach, and there are I guess you could call them cliffs that go down to the beach. They're not high, maybe 20 feet, and there's a path leading down to the beach. You're on a flat area up above that. That's about the only place you could get the truck. You can't get the truck down onto the beach. You could park it there. Now, in all directions, there are sandy, grassy hillocks. So, and it's pretty flat, and there are no houses anywhere around, and the only light you can see is way off in the distance down the coast. There's a lighthouse.
What type of moon is out?
It's like, a crescent moon.
The gibbous moon?
Well, that's not gibbous.
I know. I just wanted to say
less than half, so it's crescent. More than half.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I think we should all take a moment to honor Lovecraft's birthday tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
He didn't even invite me.
Do you want to
done for him?
Do you want to really go where he's at right now?
I know where he is. He's in Providence. Up, it's about an hour from here. I can go visit his grave. And
I figured.
That's what they want you to think.
Maybe around midnight we can hold a ritual or something.
There you go.
I think he's sharing space with the I was going to call him the Colonel, Leopold.
Captain Leopold.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Well,
he's
just Lovecraft and Captain Leopold attached to Yog Sothoth.
Well, we know that Lovecraft's body isn't there. It's long since been eaten by ghouls. In any case, so you guys can survey where you are. So now you can make some plans if you want to.
How far away is the actual water on the beach? How far?
It's really only about 50 feet from where you are, but you'd have to go down the path to the beach, and it's not much of a beach.
Bernard, this is a crazy question, but you seem to have a connection with the boy. What if you ask the boy what he wants?
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to communicate with you before. So
I know not verbally, but I'm wondering if he would understand at all, or maybe psychically.
Yeah,
it's a long shot. But
it is a long shot.
He's clearly sentient. Like, he clearly understands things.
Right.
Yeah. So when Nichols and Odell are down there, I'll try to communicate with them. See, point at the Innsmouth guys, say, do you want to go with them, or do you want to go into the ocean? And see if there's any sort of reaction. Yeah. And I'll do what the boy wants, or girl, or it, whatever it is.
Okay. So You can guess from the way things are laid out from the topography that if you guys park the truck up here, no doubt that when the Innsmouth folk arrive, they're going to be parking their cars there too. So Nichols is staying kind of out of it because it's O'Dowd's show at this point. And O'Dowd, of course, looks pissed because he wanted to make more money on this deal, but 4,000's, I guess. He doesn't like to be pressured into it. But he sort of contemptuously looks over at you, Lenore, and he says, you seem to have developed some sort of a bond with the thing. You carry it down to the beach when the time comes.
Okay. I think I will.
Okay.
Asshole.
He says, I can still smack you.
You can try.
All right, so I'll just say one last time. Any prep before the other cars begin to arrive?
I will say that to the other two, if you're staying behind with me, just keep a lookout to see if there's if they are approaching from other directions as well. Like if it's an ambush.
Oh, there also only seems to be one road that leads out here, so you'll actually see them coming quite a ways before they.
Yeah, but if they come in from both sides trying to box us in,
I've heard rumors about these folks too. It wouldn't surprise me they might be coming from the ocean.
That'd be interesting to see.
Hey, O'Dowd, did Hardy ever contact you again today?
Hardy?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that professor guy?
Yeah.
I should have sold the stuff to him.
You should have.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but you guys all tried to convince me not to. What do you mean I should have? So now he's getting really pissed.
Go on.
You could have made $6,000 instead of $4,000.
Well, let's leave right now. Fuck these Innsmouth people.
Too late. You had your chance. You screwed it up.
I guess I just pull out my gun and I'm just waiting.
All right.
Eyes open.
So as you guys are standing there, you see off in the distance headlights, and it looks like 2 cars. Okay. You hear a strange meowing sound. I don't know what that is. So anyways, as the cars are not exactly right one behind the other, the first one pulls up, not exactly next to you, but 20 feet or so down, and 3 men get out, and they start to walk towards you, and you can see the one in the middle is Jacob Marsh, and he has a kind of a suitcase. Okay. And he comes, so you showed up.
Of course we showed up. Why wouldn't we? And I kind of grip the gun in my coat.
Well, he's like, when he sees you do that, he says I expect you to have I expect you to have guns, but we don't want this to be messy. And he's like, let's go down onto the beach. And he's like, O'Dowd, you get the fish boy. And he's like, I ain't gonna get the fish boy. And he points at Leonora and just sort of points at her.
Sorry, Tom, you said Jacob, and then there were 3 men?
There's 2 other men with him.
2 other men.
And as they're saying this, the other car pulls up, and you see a couple of other guys get out. They're a little bit more, well, you can't really see their faces because they're a little farther away, and it's dark.
Can't quite tell how many.
No, there's 2 others.
2 more.
Okay, so I'm gonna go by the fish boy. I'll wait for him to come up.
Okay.
And while I'm there, I'll say, all right, we're here by the beach. We're going to give you to these men. Do you feel comfortable? You feel comfortable with this? This is your. I don't know if you can understand me, but I can take you to these guys here, and I point to the Innsmouth guys, or I can take you right over there, and I point to the ocean.
You hear Jacob suddenly say, "What are you talking to it? It's a baby. It can't understand what you're saying." He says, "Come on, we're wasting time here."
I'm ignoring him.
Well, you see the fish boy, now that you've removed the chicken wire and all that, it's not really afraid of you. So it sort of allows you to pick it up like a baby.
Oh boy, a baby.
Okay.
Jeez. Okay.
And it is sort of holding on to you like a baby.
Okay. Does it seem okay outside of the water?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, so we could have done this a long time ago. Okay.
So Jacob's motioning for you all to, let's go down the path to the beach. And so you guys are walking down the beach, and they're coming with you. But you hear O'Dowd sort of, you because you're closer to him than they are, you hear O'Dowd say to Nichols, he's like, I think we can take him. It's like, maybe we should just shoot them all and just leave. Not take the chance. Just take the money and the fish boy. And Nichols
and I'll pointedly look at Odell, and I'm like, no.
Well, you're looking at the back of his head, so.
Oh, well, I'm giving him that evil stare.
Well,
and
who was beside him? Any of us?
Beside him, nobody. It's like him and Nichols are next to one another, and Nichols is like, just get this thing over with.
And then I turn to Gwen, and I say, and I look at her, and then I look at Odell, and I'm like, you think you could take him? I think we could take him.
Yeah, and I kind of take a few steps forward, and I take my hand and I squeeze on O'Dowd's shoulders, and I say, yeah, you don't want this to be messy, do you, O'Dowd?
He says, look, there's 5 of us, and there's 5 of him, 5 of them.
There's only 1 of you and 5 of them. Technically, there's 1 of you and 9 of us.
Yeah, and you're all armed. We could take these people. We don't need to help deal with these fish people.
I don't think you understand what my friend is saying here.
Well, you don't get much more chance than to say what you've said, and you're on the beach. Okay.
How is the fish boy reacting to the Innsmouth people?
He's not reacting really at all. He's just holding on to you like you're his mom.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
So O'Dowd says, is that the money? And Jacob sort of lifts up the case and clicks the top of it and opens it up, and you can see it's full of money.
Not gold.
No.
None of that Innsmouth gold. Okay.
It's money. It's probably $4,000. And in small bills. And he says, so fine, what do we do? And he says, you and the lady take him down to the ocean.
Oh, okay. That's what I was planning to do anyway.
Okay. And he says, and as you're getting almost to the, where the now there's very little waves, okay, because there's actually an island. It's not really an island. It's technically an island, but it's called Plum Island, and it's like a finger. If here's the land, well, here's the land because it's a cove. There's like off the coast, there's like a finger of land that sticks out like that.
Okay.
And this is Essex Bay. it keeps the wave. There's no waves. There's just water lapping at the shore.
I have to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a big shark circling around?
No.
Okay. Thank the gods.
No. Yeah. No, all those sharks are busy in Panape in the south. Okay. Sorry, folks. Reference to another game that we played. All right. Well, what he says is he says you need to give it swimming room. Go out a couple of feet.
This sounds like a trap, but all right. I'll do it. So I'll go out.
Okay. So you're holding the baby,
Mm-hmm.
and O'Dowd is right next to you, and O'Dowd sort of looks at you, and then he looks back at them and gives one of those sort of a shrug. Okay. And when he does, Lenore, you hear a splash, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And coming up from under the water, you guys are out just about to your knees in the water. Coming up from under the water is a deep one. In fact, there's two of them. And they don't attack, but they come up out of the water, and they're about 5 feet away from you. And one of them sort of, it's just sort of looking at you to see what you're going to do.
So the boy's kind of like attached to me, or the kid, I should say.
The little kid almost immediately throws his arms out like this.
Okay, so then I'll hold the child out. Okay. I'll actually walk forward.
And it moves quickly forward and grabs the baby and pulls it back, and then it immediately turns and dives. It just leaps into the air and dives into the wave with the baby, and it's gone. The other one reaches forward and grabs O'Dowd by his shoulders and proceeds to rip him apart as he screams. It's not touching you. Okay. So now you guys are seeing this sudden violence.
Sanity rolls.
Well, I want to know what you guys are going to do first.
Actually, I was kind of enjoying that, but should I take sanity for that? For enjoying that? But
well, yeah. Like I say, we'll do sanity in a second. I want to know what you guys are going to do. Now, when this happens, Jacob and his people, you notice some of his people just immediately turn and run back up the path to their car, and Jacob snaps closed the suitcase, and he says something along the lines of, "We're done here." And he starts to move. Now, you also notice there is something coming up down a little ways and up onto the beach, and it looks like there might be a couple more of these deep ones.
Okay.
And it looks like they're heading more towards Nichols than anybody else. So what are you guys going to do? We'll go with you guys on the beach first. You guys are all startled.
Yeah. I guess I pull out the Derringer and I point it at Jacob and I say, what's going to happen?
And he just sort of smirks and starts to walk up the path, and he said, That depends entirely upon you. And he just walks away.
Okay, so I then, I guess I pocket the gun and I look at the two on the beach and I look at Lenora and I say, let's fucking run.
I hear her say that, and what I'll do is I'll look to the deep one who was ripping Odell apart. I give him a slight nod, like, good work, and I'll run off the out of the water and up onto the beach and run alongside of Gwen and
Okay.
Susan.
And Paul, are you also going with
Absolutely,
Gwendolyn?
I'm ready to go.
All right. So, because of your placement, Gwendolyn and Paul, you're also heading up the beach behind Jacob and his guys, and Lenore, you're running up the beach, and Nichols is in the back. And as he's running, you can see that the deep ones are going to intercept Paul. I'm sorry, intercept Nichols. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to keep running.
Okay. Well, they grab Nichols. And the two of them, the two deep ones, they sort of play this little tug-of-war game with Nichols. And Nichols starts to yell, "But I didn't do anything!"
I'll stop for a moment, and I'll turn back, and I'll say, "That's right. You didn't do anything. You seen how that boy was abused all this time. You did nothing. You gallivanted, let him be displayed as a showpiece."
Well, you're not going to have
nothing.
much of a conversation with
Yeah,
him.
but but I mean, as he's being ripped apart, I'm saying that, and I'm like, "Lenora, let's go." I'm like, that's right. You did nothing, and
All right.
I'll run. Yeah.
So, the aftermath is, of course, that Nichols is also killed. And Jacob and his people get in their cars and go. And you guys are free to get in your cars and go. Now, I would like you all to do sanity rolls.
Yes, I definitely lost some sanity with that.
And it's going to hit you while you're driving in the car. But
Oh, shit. And I failed that.
I pass.
okay. If you passed, I need you to do 1 to 4. If you failed, 1 to 6.
I lost 3.
I lost 3 as well.
5.
How many, Jeff?
5.
Ooh. Okay. Your rational mind. Professor Smithson. I need you to do a intelligence roll and hopefully fail it.
Uh-oh. 70. Oh, wow. Got it.
What'd you get?
Hold on one second.
Oh.
Yes, 92.
Oh.
So I guess that would be a fail.
Yeah, that's a fail. So you start screaming. It just like suddenly starts hitting you, and you're panicking. Like, are they going to follow us? Are they going to follow us? But you're not going to have to be institutionalized.
Can I have an idea. Can I do something?
Sure.
I'm panicking. I'm yelling out the window. I'm like, do you see him? Do you see him? I think they're following us. And I'm going to roll down the window, and I'm going to start shooting my gun.
Okay.
Just because I bought this thing and I want to use it. I never shot a gun before.
I would like you to do a dexterity roll.
Oh boy, here we go. But Lenora gets shot.
60, so I guess that would be a fail because I have a 40 dex.
Okay, so you roll down the window, you lean out, you fire the gun, and the kickback just launches it right out of your hand. Okay. And of course,
Stop the car.
you're just firing it into the dark. Yeah, you're like, stop the car.
Stop the car. Stop the car. We need to get it.
All right. So
I'll turn to you and I'll say, no, just leave it there. You don't know how to use that thing.
Let the women handle the guns. Okay,
Yeah.
Paul.
You got it.
all right. So that's more or less the end of our story, but we'll go over a little bit of stuff.
Do it.
So let's see. Now, if okay, Nichols is killed, you all lose 1d4 sanity. Okay.
Grand total of 6 for me.
Okay.
All right. 5 for me altogether.
Was killed. Fish was not killed. Hardy. Let's see. If the fish boy is returned to the hybrids or the deep ones, the investigators may earn 1d4 sanity. So you get 1d4 back.
Only got 1.
That brings me up to 2.
No, you didn't do that one. Here's what it's if the investigators manage to create a deal that the hybrids get the baby back and nobody gets killed, you would have gotten 1d4, 1d6 back. Let's see. None of you are charged with a crime. All right, so that's what your losses were. So that more or less ends the story. Your characters can go on and do whatever they want. Now, before we close, do you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about what actually took place during the game?
I have one especially about what Hardy ran off to. It seemed like he was in a hurry to do something.
Professor Hardy wanted that baby, and he wanted it for experimentation, and he would have dissected it and put it in jars. He would have written a paper because he's not a very prominent professor at Miskatonic, and he wanted to become more famous. So he risked all by literally mortgaging his house. He put himself in financial debt to get the $6,000 to make an offer, as he believed it, an offer that would outshine any other offer. But that's all. He wasn't willing to risk his life or anything like that, but he now is in financial ruin. And he doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do. And he's not famous, and he didn't get the fish boy. So he gambled and lost badly.
I kept waiting. I thought for sure he was going to show up at the site, and I couldn't remember. Did we tell him where it was at? Or...
We didn't.
No, I was thinking, oh crap, that's going to add a whole extra thing.
Yeah, I thought he was going to show up and like throw the deal off. And,
So
my question is okay. Can I ask a question from player to GM?
Yes.
Okay. Was the Dunwich baby thing a red herring?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering.
It was a red herring.
I'm curious as to how it would have been a red herring. Like, where would that have led us? Do we know, or was it like open-ended?
There are. Well, I would have had to have made stuff up, but there are very strange things that come out of Dunwich, the Dunwich horror, and weird stuff.
Wilbur Watley.
So, just Wilbur Whately, and it's just this just happened to be a deformed, freakish child that some farmer's wife had, and the farmer thought, well, we can make some money out of this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was just play. Was there anything? Were there any more of those things that you tried doing that would like throw us off? Did we miss anything? That's my main thing. Did we miss anything?
Not really.
Really? I felt like we missed something.
There were two groups involved here. What was going on? Well, this is. I'll go down the line. This is what was happening. The baby had been captured by the fishermen, and the fisherman had sold it to the circus. The fisherman then went back about his business, and the Deep Ones got a hold of him and tortured him to death. Now, the reason why the Deep Ones got involved was because this is an infant. And it was a hybrid between a female Deep One and Mr. Babson. He was the father. So since the female was a Deep One, the baby was born more fish than it was human. So that's why it was an infant and still, converted. They do have a limited psychic ability. And the baby was basically screaming, as babies will do, from its situation. Mm-hmm. And our Mrs. Coates was psychically picking up on that. She didn't understand what it was, but she could hear it screaming. The Deep Ones could also hear it screaming. The hybrids in Innsmouth couldn't hear it screaming, but the Deep Ones were like, shut the brat up. It's driving us all crazy. So the people in Innsmouth were like, we have to do what the Deep Ones tell us, Mm-hmm. And maybe they were wanting to gain some prestige with the Deep Ones, or, become a little more powerful. Of course, Jacob Marsh is on the top already as far as that goes. So they had to get the baby back, and they didn't care how they did it, but they didn't want the police to become involved. So they thought, we'll just pay for it and take the baby back. Now, there was another group of Innsmouth people that were not so negotiable, and they just happened to follow Jacob and the Babsons, and they showed up later on and started torching the bathroom and slipping a drug into various people's food or animals. They would have gone for the lion. They would have gone for the horses eventually. And it drives the person to madness. And it is made out of sea urchin.
Okay.
And I think that's more or less the story. And then you guys just sort of have to put together what you're going to do through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it could have gone a lot of different ways. Had you guys tried to defend yourselves, you would have been killed by the Deep Ones. Had you shot one of them or something like that, yeah, you would have. If Lenora had reacted in any other way, if at any time during the game you guys had sided with the carnival and tried to block Jacob and his people from getting the baby, then you would have been victims in the end. Mm-hmm. My guess is that Jacqueline was probably
going to die.
Yeah, it would have been like, you had a baby.
Kill the baby.
Yep. If Eric was here, you would have probably got snatched up too.
Yeah, and basically they abused the circus guy because they didn't want the Brinkley Brothers and Barnum and Bailey to get a hold of it and then take it where they could never get a hold of it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Does the scenario say anything about what would have happened if we had just? Because I seriously thought about this. What if we just stood there on the beach and just stood there and just watched? Would they have just been like, "Bye, y'all," and just walked away and walked into the ocean, and that would have been it?
Actually, no. If you guys had hung around to see what would have happened, there was a chance, a fairly good chance, that the Deep Ones would have said, well, now they've seen us, we need to clean up our mess. And they would have probably come after you and killed you. Now, I would say, this is not in there, but I would say in the aftermath of this, you guys might be more privy to certain information involving the Deep Ones.
Should we roll Cthulhu Mythos?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you've got some Cthulhu Mythos now, so you can just add a 1d10. I'd say that in future scenarios, especially Lenora, because she sympathized, she might be approached by one of the Marshes or the Gilbans. You know, you're a healthy female.
I am not having children.
So that's our story. Let me go ahead and wrap this up, and we can talk more about it afterwards. Our players tonight included Thomas McKeon, Jeff Wilkins, and Wayne Worthy, with yours truly as the Keeper of the Secrets. Our musical introduction, entitled Act 2 Tenebrious Brothers Carnival, was written by Kevin MacLeod and is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution license. Our games are played using traditional tabletop methods, with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. This is Tom Rayleigh inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.